Welcome, pool guys and gals, to the Let's Talk About Pools podcast, where your host, Lauren Broom, will take a splash into many topics in the pool industry to educate all aquatic professionals. Listen in, and you just might be surprised what you'll learn. So let's jump right in.
Welcome to Season 4, Episode 51 of the Let's Talk About Pools podcast. And on this episode, we're going to talk about the Cyclone Filter Tools for pool pros. I interviewed Jordan Thiessen, who is the owner and founder of Cyclone Filter Tools. I met him at a recent trade show for our pool industry. And I want to say thank you to our sponsors that make it possible to keep the podcast going. This episode's sponsors are Basecrete with Vito Mariano. Thank you so much for being a continuing sponsor of the podcast, as well as Blu-ray Etzel. Thank you so much. I got to see the owner of Blu-ray Etzel in Las Vegas this year and enjoyed seeing my sponsor there. So let's jump right into this episode and learn for you guys how this tool may be able to help you. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for giving me 3 great seasons. I want to say thank you to Vito Mariano and Basecrete Flexible Waterproof Bond Coat for swimming pools and concrete. Please check them out at basecrete.com. And wonderful company, wonderful product. Please check it out. And thank you for helping to educate our pool professionals through this podcast in Season 4 now. Thank you so much. Let's get right into our episode now.
Welcome, everybody, today to the Let's Talk About Pools podcast. And on my episode today, I have Jordan Thiessen. He's the founder of Cyclone Filter Tools. And we're going to be talking about their really awesome Cyclone filter cleaning system that I actually just saw recently at a local pool show, local to me in Florida. So met him at his booth, got to see the product in person, and got really excited about having him on the podcast. So I want to welcome you to the podcast today, Jordan.
Hey, thanks, Lauren. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here too and talk about it a little bit more with you.
Awesome. So tell the listeners of the podcast a little bit about you, because our listeners are all like pool professionals and people like that. So tell them a little bit about you, and then tell them a little bit about Cyclone Filter Tools.
Yeah, sure. So I started in the pool industry when I was around 20 years old, and I worked with my dad. He's a pool builder. I worked with him for about a year and in the construction side of things, and got a little feel for that. And I decided that I would like to try the service side out as well, and got started to cleaning pools and really just learning from not knowing anything, sort of working with some other pool professionals and learning their way of doing things, probably picking up some bad habits from them, and then learning from trial and error, starting from 0 accounts and building it up. But been doing pools for the last 15 years, and I still service pools today and really enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about the Cyclone filter cleaning system, how you came up with it, and I tell us about any awards or anything you've gotten recently. I know you got one at the Florida Everything Under the Sun pool show last month. So tell us all about that.
Yeah, we did. We've had a good show season, really new to us, but awesome opportunities to meet actual pool pros. Sometimes we see you guys on Instagram, but we get to meet you in person. That's really cool. And yeah, we did. We were really excited to win the best product for 2023 at the Everything Under the Sun Expo. And we also won the product showcase for the 2022 International Pool and Spa Show for the service category. We won
Very
that
cool.
too. And so that was exciting to get a little bit of recognition there as something that is new to the industry, a new tool, a new way of doing a very old job. But
Exactly.
yeah.
And that's why we do the podcast, so that we can bring things to our pool pros that like to listen to all of our pool podcasts and educate and just let them know about things that they may not have known about, out there, and bring it forth to them. Some of them may not be able to make it to a pool show, so this is taking the pool show to the listeners with some of these cool products. So, and especially if it's going to help them in some way. So let's tell our listeners what the Cyclone filter cleaning system is and how does it work?
So it is a tool that it allows you to clean cartridge filters more effectively. Cartridge filters are becoming one of probably the most popular choice for filter type because they are very good at filtering. They don't filter as well as DE, but they do filter very well, and they conserve water better than the other filter types. They don't need to be backwash. So there's a lot of pros to cartridge filters in general, but the cons are more related to how you're going to have to maintain them. And for some people, these cons are enough to make them not want to have them on their route, that they say, I'd rather have sand filters because all I have to do is backwash them. So what you got the time that it takes to clean them, it gets you all messy, and it takes too long to do them. It's time consuming. So these are all cons for cartridge filters, but the Cyclone filter cleaning system takes these cons and puts them back into the pro column because it doesn't take you nearly as long. You don't have to bend over. It does not get you messy. And
so we're looking at time, which is a big thing. So I think you had told me that it reduces the time almost in half on cleaning a cartridge filter.
That's right.
Being an authorized OSHA trainer, you mentioned something about leaning over, so that would fall under our ergonomics there of you constantly cleaning a cartridge filter, which is the most common filter type, I believe, out there, especially on residential, that you're bending over all day cleaning them. This allows you not to bend over when you're cleaning them. So that helps your back, especially as we get older. And you have less mess. There's a lot of positives here with this product. So how does it work exactly? So what is the system? How does it work exactly?
Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
So you have your cartridge filter, you've taken it out, and then what's the tool and how does it work?
Yeah, I know that you don't have video on the podcast, but I have a sample Cyclone in my hand that I can show you, and that is basically a stand that you can
looks like a tripod stand, right? With 3 legs that can fold in and out. So it folds out. And it looks like it has 4 legs on it. So I'm going to describe it to our listeners a little bit that have the audio version. So it's got a stand. It looks like it's very lightweight because you're easily holding that up with your hands. So it looks like it's made out of a lightweight material that
Yeah.
you know, you can carry that around with you. And then it
Yeah.
looks like it has like a wheel on it that I guess would allow you to put the cartridge filter on that. And then when you're cleaning it, does it allow the cartridge filter to turn on this
Yeah.
stand?
Yeah, that's right.
Very cool.
You set the filter on it so that the filter is supported, and it makes it a one-handed operation. You don't have to hold on to the filter with your other hand.
Okay.
And there's
Very cool.
a bearing, a stainless steel ball bearing that is at the bottom of the support, so it allows it to spin freely just by the water pressure that you spray with the nozzle. And as the filter is turning on the stand, then it is also being cleaned. You just go from the top to the bottom as it turns, and it gets cleaned.
And then you have
And
like it comes with a special attachment that goes onto like any hose.
yeah, it goes on to
Very cool.
any garden hose, has a little on-off valve to be able to shut the water off, and it has a brass fan tip nozzle, and the fan tip is designed to where it can cut in between the pleats, and
While the filter's turning.
yes, while it's turning, it's cutting between the pleats, and every single pleat is getting opened as it turns around. So you're getting in between each of those pleats and flushing it out. All the debris gets flushed out completely
Well,
without
and the cool thing that I
yeah.
think I saw was that it turns freely while you're using that attachment on your hose with the cleaning the pleats. It's like the water coming out of that makes it turn on its own as it's cleaning the cartridge filter, and it goes around and around until you've cleaned the entire cartridge filter in between all the pleats. So it really is using like two different things there. You've got the cartridge, like you said, you're not having to hold the cartridge filter while you're trying to clean it and maneuver that cartridge filter with your hand, turning it that way. This is a tool that's doing it for you. So it makes it so much easier. It really does, to me, sound like that whole process sounds easier than the old way our pool pros have been doing it. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So does it really get the filter clean?
Yes, it does. It really does get deep into those pleats. If you have a lot of grease or oils on the filter, you may still need to spray it with a degreaser. But you can put your filter on the stand and you can give it a spin and spray the whole filter while it's turning, get it nice and coated with a degreasing spray, and then you can clean it off. But as far as your debris, it's getting completely flushed out of these filters. Even if it's like pine needles and dog hair, which can be really a pain.
Yep.
Those might take a little bit more time to get them out, but you'll be amazed at how clean these filters are when using the Cyclone. And you don't have to go in, you don't have to open up every individual pleat by hand. If you're a little bit detail oriented like me, you want them to be very clean, and this achieves it without having to do that.
And you had mentioned when we spoke about it privately that it also helps with saving on water. I know cartridge filters already help with that because of not being backwashed, but you said your system actually helps save more additional water than that, which I think is definitely a positive with the areas of the country that have had drought and water conservation and that kind of thing. So for those that are environmentally aware, we're thinking of things now and products that are coming out that are helping with our environmental side from the pool industry as well, which is really cool. So that's awesome.
It can use about 65% less water, because if you're cutting your time in half, that's 50% less. And actually our nozzle, it sprays out a little bit less water than your traditional hose. It's got really good pressure. It actually enhances the pressure of a regular garden hose. But you end up saving, about 65% in the tests that we've done, in comparison to regular hose nozzles.
That's really amazing. Well, this has been really cool to talk to you about this cool product. Really excited for you guys. You've had some good shows, and there's many shows coming up in the next year. So if you guys really want to see this product in person, check out the Cyclone Filter cleaning system with Cyclone Filter Tools and Jordan Thiessen at any of the upcoming pool shows in the next year. I know that we're kind of sliding out of show season, but they start back up in the fall again, and I'm sure you're going to be hitting the road again with all the pool shows when season starts again. So everybody can check out your product if they want to see it in person, right?
Oh, absolutely. And anytime as well. Our website is cyclonefiltertools.com, and there's a lot of videos that we've put on there that show it in being used, cleaning different filter types, different tips and ways of cleaning the filters. So there's a lot you can learn on there as well.
Awesome. And I was going to ask where they could find, the information. And since it was more difficult on a podcast, we have to try to describe to our listeners what this tool does. So can you say that website one more time? Because that's going to be important for them to physically see video of the product and how it works. So say that website one more time.
Yeah, sure. Cyclonefiltertools.com. And you got a lot of info on there for you to check out.
Are you guys on social media as well?
Yes, we're on Instagram, Cyclone Filter Cleaner. We're on Instagram, and I think we do have a TikTok and YouTube as well. Cyclone Filter Cleaner.
For those listeners that are big social media people, like you said, meeting them in person is kind of cool. I agree with you. Social media can be used for good, sometimes bad, but we're hoping for good. And you can definitely get some really great videos and pictures of things that you're trying to check out on social media. So for those that like that, you can check them out there as well. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today, Jordan.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hope that anybody who gets to try the Cyclone, that it can bring a little more enjoyment to our jobs, because we have great jobs being pool techs, and it's just, there's so many great aspects to it. Filter cleaning traditionally has been one of the worst things we have to do, and why not fix that and make it something that we can enjoy? And so that's what this tool is for. And it's more efficient, faster. You don't get clean, you don't hurt your back. But I like to think, hey, this makes it more fun, and that's one of the biggest things. It sounds
like it's more fun than the old way of doing it.
Yeah.
And I think some of the people at the last couple pool shows have felt the same way. So thank you very much for being on the podcast today, so we could give information about your product to our pool pros out there.
Yeah. Thank you, Lauren.
You have a wonderful day.
All right, you too.
Thanks for diving in today with the Let's Talk About Pools podcast. Be sure to follow us on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page. And feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts, so more aquatic professionals like you can learn about the show. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Let's Talk About Pools podcast.